What's up, Ravens fans? OTAs are underway, and there's lots of good questions coming into the mailbag, so let's just go ahead and open it up right away, Ryan. The first question today comes from Making R1, and the question is, which under-the-radar player do you guys think will have a breakout campaign like Alex Collins did last year? Well, before you answer, let me just preface this, all right? I mean, Alex Collins, that was a special case. This is the guy that wasn't even on the team at this point because he was in Seattle, got cut in training camp, and ends up being a surprise to the entire NFL.
Yeah.
So you may not go that far, but give us somebody who you think could have a breakout season.
Yeah, how about I stay at the same position? I'm going to go with Kenneth Dixon. I think he's coming off the knee injury, but before that, last offseason about this time, he was one of the most impressive offensive players I saw in practice. The burst, the explosion. I think that if Kenneth Dixon can find a way onto the field, whether that be via injury or even as the number 2 running back, he could get a sizable amount of carries and catches in that role. I think that he could really be an impact player.
You know, what about the wide receivers? Because this is an interesting group. It's a totally new group. There's a lot of guys with a lot to prove. I think there could be somebody there.
Yeah, because they're coming off of down seasons.
Yeah.
Pretty much all 3 of the free agents that the Ravens signed. I think John Smokey Brown could have a big impact. You see him already making big plays in practice, catching a bomb from Joe Flacco. If this guy can stay healthy, he can be a huge breakout player for the Ravens. It's a big if he can stay healthy, but I think he has potential. And Willie Snead, how about him too? Willie Snead, really a rough year in New Orleans. Perfect slot receiver in this offense.
Well, Smokey Brown bet on himself with a big 1-year deal.
Yeah,
so
exactly. I like to see that.
Yeah. All right, let's keep it moving. The next question, this one comes to us from Mike Franz. The question is, Rashad, Perriman, and Joe Flacco seem to have the most to prove on the offensive side of the ball this season. Who on the defensive side has the most to prove in 2018? Well, I'll point to Kamalai Correa, the linebacker, second-round pick of a couple of years ago. He's somebody that hasn't really found his way yet in the NFL. Started kind of as an inside-outside linebacker, hybrid, was playing both positions, didn't really play well on special teams. Last year, came in and the Ravens were hoping that he could go out there and become that starting inside linebacker, but then Peanut Owasso ended up beating him out for the job. This is kind of a make-or-break year for him. I think that he has to earn his spot onto the team. And then for another guy, too, another high draft pick, I'll point to defensive end Bronson Kafusi. He missed his entire rookie season because of an injury. He came back last year, was a healthy scratch for much of the year. I think both of these guys need to have a strong offseason, strong training camp, and they have a lot to prove in 2018.
Yep, I would agree. Last question comes from official D2 The Dre. And the question is, after coming back from a season-ending injury last year, do you believe that Jimmy Smith is capable of returning to the shutdown corner that he once was? You know, this is a tough one because Achilles injuries are tough, and cornerback is a very physically demanding position. We've also seen in years past, I think Terrell Suggs and Steve Smith, when they came off their Achilles, they weren't exactly the same player.
Especially not right away.
Exactly. It took them half a season to almost a full year to really become the players that they were pre-injury. So it's a tall order to expect Jimmy to come out and be the kind of Pro Bowl player that he was before the injury. With that said, I think that Jimmy Smith is a special athlete. We talked to Steve Saunders, and he said that Jimmy Smith is maybe the biggest freak that he has in the weight room. I mean, this guy is, the way he recuperates, recovers, just the athlete he is, I think that it gives him a chance to get back on the field and play at a very high level.
And I think the big piece of it is when that happens. Maybe it's not week 1 or week 2, but if you get into the later part of the season, that's when you really need him playing at that high level.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so that does it for this week's edition of the Ravens Mailbag. But as always, we'd love to hear from you guys, so send in those questions every single week on social media using the hashtag Ravens Mailbag. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.